All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to talk about something that's hiding in plain sight in every single classroom and how we can turn it into our most powerful teaching tool. And what is it? It's just talk. Simple student talk.
So, let me start by asking you a question, and I want you to really, honestly think about it for a second. In your classroom, when the learning is really happening, what does it actually sound like?
For a lot of us, it probably falls into one of two categories, right? On the one hand, you've got that pin drop passive silence. And on the other, you've got random chatter, noise that has pretty much nothing to do with the lesson. If either of those sounds familiar, you are definitely in the right place.
This really gets to the heart of it all. It's about these two different realities of the classroom. And that space between them, that's where the opportunity is.
So the usual. We all know this one. It's where students are just kind of listening, which can be pretty passive, or there's talk going on, but it's totally unfocused. Kids talking about video games during a lesson on the Civil War. That kind of talk isn't doing any of the heavy lifting for us.
But then there's the goal. Just picture this. A classroom that is literally buzzing, not with chaos, but with structured, on-topic, purposeful conversation. A place where you can actually hear the deep thinking happening. Now that's the vision.
And here's the key takeaway. Closing that gap between the usual and the goal, it isn't about finding more time in the day or getting a bigger budget. It's all about unlocking the power of the student conversations that are already happening. So, how in the world do we do that?
Well, it really starts with understanding the why. There are three foundational pillars that support this whole idea of purposeful talk. These are the real benefits that make this entire approach actually work.
So here they are at a glance. It deepens thinking, it increases equity, and it boosts retention. Let's break each one of these down, because this is where the theory really starts to become practice.
First up, let's talk about pillar number 1.
This is all about deepening thinking. Think about it. When a student has to explain how they solved a problem out loud to a partner, they can't just get by with a vague idea. They are forced to clarify their thoughts, to organize them, to make them make sense. So here's the crucial point. Talk isn't just a sign that learning happened. Talk is the engine of learning itself.
Okay, let's move on to the second pillar, which really builds right on top of that foundation.
Pillar 2 is about increasing equity. A super quiet classroom can actually be a place where struggling students can hide. But when you create a structure for purposeful talk, it provides this safe, low-stakes chance for every single student to participate, to practice using academic language, and to build their confidence. This is an absolute game changer for English learners, but really, it benefits everybody.
And finally, let's look at that third pillar. This one connects directly to how our brains are literally wired to remember things. Yeah, this is all about boosting retention. When students are actively processing information by talking about it, they're physically moving that knowledge from that flimsy short-term working memory into solid long-term understanding. It's why a student might totally forget a lecture by Friday, but they'll remember a great conversation they had about that same topic for years.
Okay, so we know why this stuff is so powerful. The why is clear. But I know what you're thinking. What about the how? How do you actually bring this into an already jam-packed classroom?
Well, that's the great news here. This whole approach is designed for the real world. It's built to be fast so it doesn't eat up all your instructional time. It's practical. These are ideas you can literally use in your classroom tomorrow. And maybe most importantly, it's fun, because we all know that engaged students are learning students.
So we'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. Now that you've seen the why and the how, the only real question left is the one on your screen. What is one small step you can take to make Student Talk your most powerful teaching tool, starting tomorrow?